Good evening, everybody. This is Michael Grace to Talk About a Man, and I am coming online tonight to do a brief segment here for you with Let's Talk About It with Michael Grace. And I want to talk about tonight a subject that I think is very important, one that requires you to put a whole lot of thought process into everything that you're going through. We're going to call tonight's segment Watch What You Say. That's right, I said it. Repeat after me. Watch what you say. What you say has the ability to determine where you go. What you allow yourself to speak out of your mouth becomes the wherewithal for future progressions in terms of action, future things that you may do based on what you've already declared out of your mouth. So what you speak becomes your ultimate reality if you speak it enough. So if you look back to your childhood, as a child when you were little, whenever your parents would say something, then you would take what was being said to you and you would begin to develop a belief system. You begin to develop a belief system because as a child you believe what your parents say, you believe how it is that they say it, you believe whatever it is that they declare to you. And when you begin to believe that, then you ultimately begin to say it out of your own mouth. And you say that because the people that you trusted that seemed like they would know more than you said something, and then ultimately that became a reality that was something that you adapted to and something that you carried out. So when you come into adulthood, with either the assessment of whatever that was spoken was positive or maybe not so positive. If you've had some sort of epiphany, or maybe you've had some sort of situation where people have gotten a hold of you to encourage you so that you don't live out what it was that was spoken, then you were very blessed. You had an intervention, maybe from somebody that encouraged you, which is amazing, because I think interventions are necessary. I think interventions are very, very good in that they get you to regroup, they get you to get to the perspective. But that's not what we're talking about tonight. We're not talking about interventions tonight. We're talking about watch what you speak. Watch what you speak, watch what you say, watch what you declare, watch what you believe. What you believe starts with what is in your head. Whatever is in your head is going to proceed out of your mouth. Those of you that are Christians, the Bible teaches us that out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. Before it can get to your heart, it first has to get to your mind. Before it gets to your heart, it is something that you had to have considered. Before it was something that you considered, it was something that your ears heard. Whether it was somebody from your childhood, whether it was somebody maybe later on in life, maybe it was somebody that was operating in manipulation, and then therefore that became a reality for you because then you chose to believe what was being said. Most people that are looking to damage you will come into your life and speak things to you at a very emotional and sensitive time in your life, because when you're emotionally and you're sensitive, that is the time that you're most susceptible to the things that maybe somebody's trying to manipulate you over because of something that they're wanting to do. So that's a whole nother subject that we won't even get into today. But I wanted to, my goal in my heart is to encourage people. My goal in my heart is to get people to see themselves differently. My goal in my heart is, I just believe that if I can get you to think of yourself differently, then you'll begin to reach and acquire and become a greater you that you never thought you could ever be. One of the main things that I always say all the time is that my goal is to introduce you to the person that you have never met. Okay, Michael, what in the world do you mean when you say introduce me to the person that I've never met? I look in the mirror every single day. I know who it is that I am. I know what it is that I possess. I know what it is that I have the ability to be. So what do you mean when you say introduce you to the person that you have never met? Well, let me just say, you asked that question at exactly the right time. So let me go ahead and give you the answer to that right time question, that right now question. When I say to you, introduce you to the person that you have never met, I'm talking about to that person of potential. I'm talking about to that person that you never thought you could be or you never thought you could become because of what has happened in your life in previous times. Because maybe as a child, maybe you were abused, maybe you were molested, maybe you, like me, were the product of an alcoholic parent, and that became the primary focus in life and not being cared for. Maybe you're like another individual that came from a home that abuse was the way of living because that's just what they did. That's neither here nor there, but that had a root in your life. That had a root and a perspective within who it is that you were, and it caused you to maybe potentially not be the person that you should have always been. So I'm referring to the perspective of who it is that you're going to become, not who it is that everybody else has said that you are, not who it is that everybody else is determined that you're going to become. Rather, the person that you had the ability to become based on where it is that you were going. So I want to talk to you about what you speak, what you say, how you say it, the mode that you say it in. Now, I'm a firm believer that whatever you say, and I'm just going to give you a real quick synopsis just so that it's clear in terms of the direction that we're going to go in this podcast. So, what you say, what you declare out of your mouth, first, like we said before, it starts with a thought. What you think, it's and it but you think is derived on many, many, many different factors. But we're going to start with that. What you think is going to be what you focus on, what your brain is on, what your brain is considering, what your brain is emphasizing in that particular moment. What your brain processes, it then becomes to develop a belief system. Once that belief system is entered into it, then everything that comes from that point down trickles down based on what the mind believes. So, what your mind believes is something that you're going to confess out of your mouth. It's something that you're going to act out each and every day. It's going to be something that you're going to believe in terms of this, that, or the other thing. I remember several years ago when I lived in Atlanta, my son came and he visited me in Atlanta. And I told him, I said, well, why don't you try to get a job doing this? Or why don't you try to get a job doing that? He's like, Dad, I could never do that. And I said, but who told you that? Who told you what you could not do? He was like, what do you mean who told me? I just could not do it. I said, but who told you that? Somebody had to have said that to you, and you must have believed what they said in order for you to be in this particular conversation telling me what you cannot do, because you didn't learn that from me. So the point that I'm getting to is that when somebody tried to introduce, even though it was his dad, tried to introduce him to something that he never thought he could do, his belief system had already been determined based on what somebody else told him that he could not do. So he felt the only option that he had was to um, be in the arena of just barely making it, just barely getting by, just barely doing this. But me, his father, who didn't really have the greatest of upbringings, decided to introduce him to something that he had never come into contact with. That's what I mean when I say introduce you to somebody that you have never met. The you that is the potential, the you that is the possibility, the you that is the person in the probable of opportunity that you can become. That's what I want to invest in you in. That's what I want to begin to introduce you to. That's what I want to begin to equate into your mind so that you can look at yourself and say, I am somebody. So that you can look at yourself and say that I have the ability to become the greatest that I have never known that I could ever be. I'm going to take what I've been through and I'm going to put that to the side. I'm going to take what I used to think and I'm going to put that over here because maybe, just maybe, there's something that I've not yet realized. Maybe, just maybe, there is something that I have not come into contact with. Maybe, just maybe, there are possibilities that I could become. So I have a question for you. When it comes to you living your life, getting up each and every day, going to work, going to school, or looking for work, looking for school, whatever it is that you do in your life, have you ever wondered, is there more to this than what I have? Is there more? Are there more opportunities? And if I haven't been able to do what I've not done, can I do what I've not done? Is it possible for me? Why is it that maybe the person on the other side of town doesn't have money issues? Why is it that maybe the person on the other side of town can get jobs that I never thought that I could get and never thought that I had the opportunity and possibility to have? Why is that? Why, what was that all birthed on? And why in the world have I allowed myself to to be in that same mechanism? So it all starts on number one, what you believe. So now I'm going to give you a principle that I want you to test out. And I promise you, not telling you and introducing you to something that I have not done myself, because I have. The very equation that I am going to give to you is something that I did not hear. It is something that I tried. It is something that I know. It is something that is very true in the aspects of every single area of your life. And that is, try speaking something that is different than what it is that you already say. If you say, I'm only ever going to live paycheck to paycheck, try saying something different. If you say, I'll never get any more out of life than I have already gotten, try saying something different. Try something that you've never done, because it's not going to hurt you. It's not going to cost you anything. It's not going to hinder anything for you to believe greater than what it is that you've already believed in times past. You're not giving me any money. You're not giving anybody else any money by simply saying something out of your mouth. You're simply trying something that maybe, just maybe, it might have an effect that you never realized it had the possibility of affecting. So let me tell you this: when you speak, look at you, you're looking at me face to face right now, right? So my mouth is in the center of my ears. It's right at the level of my eyes. That's another good point. It's right at the level of my eyes. There's my mouth, my nose, my eyes, my ears. Mouth, nose, and when we were taught our children, we would show them that. We would do symbolism. So mouth, nose, ears. I'm sorry, mouth, nose, eyes, ears. Mouth, what you speak, is in the center of your ears. It is this in the center of your ears. So if you are a person that is not hearing impaired and you have the ability to hear, whatever you speak, your ears hear it first. Whatever you speak, your ears hear. Now, in the beginning, it's going to be difficult because you already have a belief system. You've already developed a belief system that is not conducive to maybe what it is that I'm challenging you to do. You already have a belief system that may not be what it is that you want to go. That's okay. I expect, and you need to expect, that it's going to feel weird at first. But let's just try this out. I am a person of destiny. That's what Michael Grayson Talk About It Man is all about. That's where this whole theory came from, is being a person of destiny. I am a person of destiny. I am a person of success. I am a person of valor. I am a person of motivation. I am a person of effect. I am that individual. I am that. So as you begin to speak that, it becomes your reality, whether or not you know it. Now, when somebody says something to you one time, you hear it, you deal with it, You kind of put it away. It is what it is. But when you begin to hear that thing over and over and over and over and over again, then you start to begin to identify with what it is that you've heard. So understand, saying something one time is good, but it's not going to have the effect that it needs to have later. So this is what you need to do. You need to begin to speak it every day. Speak it every day. I am a person of destiny. I'm a firm believer in getting in a mirror and talking to yourself in a mirror, because when it's something about when you look at your own eyes and you begin to speak, and when you speak that positivity, something in your, glory be to God, something in your eyes begins to change, something in your mindset begins to be altered, become altered, something within your anatomy begins to take root. Because when you begin to talk it out, your mind begins to first your ears hear. What your ears hear, if they hear it enough, your mind begins to develop a belief system. Then you begin to become optimistic. Now, the key here is to make sure that the people that is around you, that you have around you, are the people that are conducive to what it is that you're trying to do. You cannot have people that are negative, not going anywhere around you, if you're going to be speaking positivity, because they're going to abort that. They're going to cause you to divorce the new mindset that you're developing. So you must understand, it's not just about speaking, although that is the first step. It's about some additional things as well. Keep toxic people away from you. Toxic people were designed to destroy, not to build. Let me say that again. Toxic people were designed by the enemy to destroy you, not to build you. When you want to build a house, you don't go to an unstable ground to build that house. You don't go to a hill that is going down, building up a house that you expect to be at a level that is conducive to being able to remain. You must have a foundation that is firm. You must have a foundation before you do anything with building that particular house. The whole foundation of that has to be set. And because it has to be able to hold that which you're getting ready to build. The same thing goes with you. You can't speak into yourself, into your life, if you've got some haters or some people that are not going in the same direction that you're going. You got to do some inventory. You got to make sure that ground is set. You got to make sure that ground is stable. You got to make sure that ground is going to be able to hold what it is that you're getting ready to plant. You're getting ready to plant destiny by speaking positivity into your life. You're getting ready to plant destiny by speaking good things into your life, and possibility and opportunity. That's what you're getting ready to speak. So you got to have people around you that are doing the same thing. When you're having a bad day, you need people around you that are going to be able to get you right back on course. Say, oh, no, 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 we're not going to do that today. We got to be a person of destiny. We got to be people of progression and not people of regression. We got to be going forward, not going backwards, because going backwards is not going to render us a different result. What you speak has the ability to change not only your life, but to change the lives of those that are going to come after you. People that you have never met, people that you're going to come into contact with. I'd like to tell people all the time, look and speak the way that the places that you desire to go to. Look and speak like you want to be successful. Look and speak like, don't leave the house looking any old kind of way. Don't leave the house with your clothes not ironed. Don't leave your house if you haven't showered or put on deodorant or cologne. Don't do all that. You don't need to have a whole lot of money. Just make sure you get yourself together. Look like you want people to see you as, and as you begin to present yourself based on how you want to see, do you know that uncommon connections will begin to form? Do you know that uncommon resources will begin to it present itself? Do you know that uncommon possibilities will begin to become your reality? That is what you need to do. That is what you need to think about. But before you can do any of that, you have to first develop a belief system. So we're talking about people that you may be a person that doesn't have a good belief system. So we're going to abort that belief system by having you speak what it is that you want to become. Speak what it is that you have never had. Speak whatever it is that you're looking to acquire, to obtain. If you want to, if you want to do something, then speak it so that it goes, those words go into the atmosphere. And when words go into the atmosphere, trust me when I tell you, they will find a lodging place. They will find a place to seat. Don't you think for 1 minute that that your connections that you run into each and every single day when you meet a new person, don't for 1 minute think that was by chance. Don't for 1 minute think that it was just a coincidence. There are no such thing as coincidences. However, there is a very, very much a reality to divine connections. Divine connections do not start when you leave the house, they start what you did while you were in the house. So what you speak begins to overlay into the possibilities of what's going to happen in the future. If you want to be a person such as myself that works in accounting, then begin to become familiar with numbers. Begin to believe that you can have more than you've ever had in times past. Begin to believe something. Start small, start little until you get that. Then set another goal and do this, and then set another goal and do that, and then set another goal and continue the process. But you must continually speak what it is that you want. The word of God, the Bible says that life and death are in the power of the tongue. Whatever you say will become a self-fulfilling prophecy, because before any prophet or evangelist or motivational speaker can come to you to speak into your life, you have to be first be willing to be open to speaking into your own. Cannot you cannot expect things to change if you don't put forth the first effort. The first effort is in what you say. The first effort is in what you speak. The first effort is in the belief system that you have developed. My goal is to become in conflict with your present state of mind if it is not progressing. If you are not progressing into the next season of your life, my intent is to be in conflict with you. My intent is to agitate you. My intent is to frustrate you so that you can become the you that you never thought you had the possibility of being. That is my goal. My goal is to affect you so that you can become the greatest you that you have never been. Watch what you speak. That's all I had to say today. I have more later. Next week I'm really excited about next week, and I'll share with you the title of next week's podcast. The title of next week's podcast is Surviving the Lie. I'm going to have a special guest. I'm really excited. A young man that I've mentored for a little while here now. His name is Malik. And Malik Henry is going to be with us, and we are going to talk about it. He is going to share with you how he survived the lie. Michael, what do you mean survive the lie? That is a great question. Why don't you tune in next week as me and Malik dive into the idea of surviving the lie. You have an amazing day. If this has blessed you in any way whatsoever, please feel free to share on your social media pages, subscribe, whatever the case is. My goal is to be a blessing to you. May God bless you. I love you all. Have an amazing day.